All right, welcome to episode 65 of Theater School Rejects podcast with my co-host Richard Older.
Hi.
Where can people find you at?
They can find me on Instagram and the Twitter machine at RKOlder. RichardOlder.com should be up.
The website's
soon.
back. Oh, not quite yet.
I'm currently designing it, but it should be up probably around Christmas.
What are you using to design it?
Just a built-in fucking website builder from GoDaddy.
Okay. Well, I like Google Sites, and I told you I have a domain that I bought through Google, and the domain is dougxcomedy.com with the letter X, dougxcomedy.com, and then it just, once you click on it, it redirects you to Google Sites.
Oh.
Whereas, but the GoDaddy a website builder, that might be a better option. I'll look into it. But anyway, moving on from technical details. As we talk, this is how Theater School Rejects talks tech.
I really want to be a member. I really want to be on episode 69.
Oh,
just because.
Right.
Well, maybe not. It's going to be a non-stop string of just 69 oral jokes, probably.
Different from your usual day, Hal?
No. Mario is the expert in cock jokes.
He does talk about that is his gimmick. He loves penis jokes.
He does. Oh, you know what? I'll tell you about this off the podcast, because he sent me something last week based off a picture that I posted about it looked like my O face.
Oh no, okay, moving on. I don't even want to hear about off the cast. I'm like, that's enough of a preview. I'll skip the movie.
That's the part I can say. The other part of it is a private thing about a comic that him and I know who's in porn. And I'm not gonna out that person.
Okay.
I'll tell you after though.
Is it me?
Are you in porn? Wouldn't you know?
I got worried for a sec.
Maybe Doug X.
I got some clones running around. We all came out of the same lab. I don't know what they get up to when I'm not around.
You would have the strangest porn ever.
Probably.
You'd be super wordy.
It would be very wordy.
You'd be like, the sex is secondary. You will get the script right.
Oh, seriously. It would be all about the script. It would be
all
words.
about the script.
Yeah. It would be like 90% script.
I'm building the story.
And they'd have sex for like 30 seconds.
It's about people boning. You're like, no, there will be a story.
They have to have
people
invest.
Will watch
people have to care.
They have to care about the lady being grilled.
It's about the dialogue. And they would have a conversation while they were having sex.
Hey, by the way, I don't know if you guys figured that out, but they're going on a road trip to Arizona.
Well, that would just be like, I would just ask, like, if I was directing it and be like, why do you have them doing that? I'm like, doesn't everybody? That's how it goes in my experience.
There's a pretty funny storyline in Californication where this guy's doing porn. And he's all talking about like the characters in the stories. You're missing the point, man. No one watches that shit.
It's a range. There's different styles. Well, let's move on.
Right.
Saying that a lot tonight. All right. So, do you want to talk about being depressed?
Sure.
All right. Because I had my physical today, my annual physical at the VA hospital.
Okay.
As I mentioned.
That's right.
Yeah. And so a couple of things I was worried that might be skin cancer weren't. So that was good.
That's good news.
But apparently I need a colonoscopy, which is not. Except I'm over 40, so like I should have got a colonoscopy a couple of years ago and been putting it off. But now there's apparently reason to like go looking, which is not good.
Well.
And apparently, so like you can't win. I'm gonna get to like the depression thing in a bit, but they told me my vitamin D is way down, and I've been avoiding the sun because I'm in California. I don't want skin cancer. And it's like, okay, I get to choose between a vitamin D deficiency or skin cancer. Like, what the fuck? Admittedly, you can take vitamins for vitamin D, right? That's not too redundant. But I'm like...
No, but I mean, it's also not the best way to absorb vitamin D.
Yeah, so I mean, I should go out in the sun more, but like, you know, just wear a hat and sunscreen. But I hate sunscreen, etc. And I don't look good in direct sunlight. So
It's true. You talked about on stage.
that was such a that came from the podcast. Like,
That's right.
because like I was wearing shorts that one day. I give you a ride, and that's some of my bad experiences in shorts. And you wear shorts all the time, and I was like, and because as everyone knows, I oftentimes don't pre-select the bits I'm gonna do, which is why my segues all suck. And you know, it was 9 minutes in.
My teacher, he said segues are a thing of the past. He's like, it's not important. You can
Bullshit.
just move on.
Bullshit. Well, okay, but even doing that, like a smooth transition, whether or not you segue and lead into one thing or another, a smooth transition is important.
Right. Well,
Fuck
it helps.
Yeah. Fuck segue. Anyway, but so fuck your teacher. Is your teacher famous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Relatively.
Do I know him?
Probably not.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, but how many comics do you really know?
As few as possible.
You're
I would
not
know.
necessarily the study of comedy like I am.
I would know fewer if I could. Every day I trim one off my Facebook.
Isn't that the truth?
You're unfriended.
I don't like what you just said. Gone.
Bam, you're off the show.
That shit wasn't funny. Gone.
Yeah.
How dare you make that comment towards me? Gone.
You're never gonna fuck me, gone.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which I'm on all your shows, so apparently there's still hope for me.
Yeah. I was talking about the female persuasion.
All right. I didn't want to.
Yeah, we're progressive, right?
I didn't want to assume.
Yeah.
Hey, no lights, asshole.
See, that was like nice and shitty at the same time. Hey, you're not wearing your light. I got your lights on. That's nice, asshole. Like, that's Richard right there.
There's a half dozen
It's gotta
of those
balance
folks
out.
every goddamn night. Turn on your fucking lights.
And you just gave like
Jesus Christ.
Don't shout. I have to adjust the volume, otherwise people just listen to podcasts like, ow, my ears. And I don't want just the volume.
I apologize to the Forza listeners.
Apologize to the Forza listeners who are now half deaf and can't hear your apology. All right, so
It's so fucking obnoxious.
I get you, but so anyway, so like, what was I even saying? Oh yeah, I know that's comics, and so anyway, so like that 1 minute led to I got the 1 minute of like my shorts wearing trauma to share with with on stage, and it went really well, and I was happy, and that was purely from the podcast, which is a synergy, right? Why would we do this podcast with Forza listeners? Because we create new bits.
Yeah.
Well, I do. I don't know if you've got new bits from the podcast. I hope you do.
I don't know.
Well, I think you don't go back and listen to them. So you have no opportunity to learn. Like you're like, because I don't always remember what we talked about. But then I listen to it. I'm like, oh man, that was good. I went to that on stage, and you might have that experience if you listen to them.
Maybe.
It's possible. It's arguable.
It's yeah, it's arguable.
See, I want to bring that now into my everyday conversation. And even though I'm the one who originated it, I am now using it more because Hannibal and her family use it. So in a way, I've taken it from them.
It's all right.
It's like an STD you pass back and forth. Like I had it, then I didn't have it. Now they have it. Yeah, and then they've given it back to me.
Well, herpes never goes away. Probably more like chlamydia.
Yeah, or gonorrhea.
Just like, yeah.
Verbal gonorrhea.
Comedic gonorrhea.
Yeah, exactly. That's a nice,
Just
relatively
keep sharing
harmless
it.
STD. Man, I love this podcast. Anyway, not even close to getting where I was going.
No.
But it's the journey, not the destination.
I have to.
Which is what I tell all my partners about sex.
I hope you have a fun time on your way there, because when you get there, it's not going to be great.
You may never get there. You gotta think of it as a journey, because we may never reach our destination.
Just letting you know, you're not going to get where you want to be.
It's not gonna go how you think it is.
It's not going to go how you think it is.
I call that my theory of anticlimactic sex. That the climax is not the climax. The climax is the journey in pursuit of it.
It's the half-ass climb up the hill we just took.
Oh man, I wish there wasn't so much truth in this podcast.
Yeah. Well,
let's wander over towards BJ so I can use the pisser there.
at least
I'm like,
at
that's
least
my,
you had a
that's my
hill to
main coming
climb
out.
this year.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I'm at the physical, and
Oh, yeah, that's right. There was a.
I'm pushing towards destination, and the nurse asked me, like, do you feel sad? And I'm like, yeah. And they go, how often? I'm like, well, a couple hours every day at least.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, do you need, like, do you want to talk to someone? Do you want to be part of our great mental health VA, because it's the VA program? And I'm like, no.
It's funny that she calls it great.
Well,
nothing VA related I would ever chalk up to
well, they're
great.
trying to, like, talk it up. They want more people participating. And, like, there's a dude, actually, who's a nurse. And I'm like, no. And I'm like, and he's like, looked at me like, I got a sustainable level of sad. It's fine.
See, you could turn that into a bit.
But
A sustainable level of sad.
I'm going to.
I'm bummed out, but I'm even.
Right, well, because it's not new. Like, I'm not going to kill myself because of being sad. If I was going to do that, it would have been 3 years ago.
If 0 is normal, I'm at a -3.
Yeah, like, but
and
of course it varies, but it varies to like -6 or -2 or -1. And on some days, I reach a point not of happiness, but where you could say
But I
minimal
reach 0.
sadness. Yeah, almost no sad. That's like the peak.
If I even out to 0, it's a good day.
Yeah, like, would you say you're happy? No, I wasn't happy, but I didn't feel noticeably sad. That's a great fucking day right there.
Right?
But I've talked about this theme of like sustainable depression or sustainable sadness, but I don't usually talk about it to medical professionals.
Yeah.
But I've had this conversation. Like, they ask me, like, do you think about killing yourself? And I'm like, well, who doesn't?
Right?
I'm like, well,
Especially in the VA.
Well, one of my favorite like VA mental
Which
health.
I suppose is probably why they're asking.
Well, there was a point when I was not at a sustainable level of sad, and I actually was like thinking often of killing myself, and I called the VA crisis hotline and said, hey guys, because it was a voicemail, I'm like thinking about killing myself. And this is where it gets good. A month and a half later, they called me back and asked how I was doing.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not an urgent thing to get back to. I'm really thinking about some serious harm and killing myself.
Would you like to talk to someone and be a part of our great VA mental health?
Well, they're trying to
department?
improve because they have made mistakes in the past. Oh, this is not the same VA. That was New Jersey, this is California. But nonetheless, they have not done well in the past,
No.
and they're trying to do better.
Well, because they have huge suicide rates for veterans.
Yeah.
So I understand they're trying to improve it. But calling someone who says, hey, I'm thinking about killing myself, what, a month and a half later?
Yeah, that was a really low point for the VA and for me. But like,
Clearly.
yeah. But before we go like into the VA detours, where I kind of want to go with this is you feel that you're feeling depressed today, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I feel depressed every day.
but this is a worse day than usual.
Yes. Yes, I cried today.
Did anything like give rise to it, or is it just like somewhere in your sign period? This is just like, a lower than average day.
That's a lower than average.
I mean, you know, a sine curve, right?
Yeah.
Where it goes like up and then goes down low and it evens out. But like, it's a period. Like, it never gets beyond a certain point, never goes lower than a certain point, and it basically hits the high point, then down to the even point, then low point. I'm not saying that's a pattern, but there is some pattern where it's highs and lows.
Right. I have a little more bipolar depression, so I'll get above 0.
Yeah, you'll be happy.
I'll be happy, or I'm feeling pretty good about stuff for a short period of time, but ultimately, disappointment and exhaustion ruin that.
But is there anything that would not lead to depression? Like, is there some level of success where you can stay manic?
I don't think so.
It just has to. So it's not really disappointment. It's just a matter of, like, you can only keep the manic energy for a bit.
Yes.
And I think that's
it's only sustainable for a little bit of time.
Well, yeah, and I think like that's the thing. We think like, oh, if I get this thing, or if I accomplish this thing, then I'll be happy.
Yes, I think that, to me, that's an illusion. I don't think that's a reality.
Right, and I don't buy into that. Like I realize I will not be happy if I accomplish A, B, and C.
Right.
But I tried to, and I told this to Veronica. But if I'm going to be depressed, at least I'll be depressed and have accomplished A, B, and C.
Yes.
Which is better than being depressed without accomplishments.
Right. So, like, I periodically think about what I'm doing in life because my life is hard.
Yeah, your life is hard.
It's challenging and it's difficult to sustain because I don't have financial successes and so there's always a high level of stress all the time.
But you could do more.
I could,
No, but I mean like,
but I also can't.
well, no, but like I'm self-published on Amazon, as I like to point out, and I had some awesome people in Australia, or one awesome person read 1,000 pages of my book.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Which again is like I can still be depressed, but that certainly cheers me up for some 5-10 minutes of the day when I think about that.
Yeah.
But what I'm also saying is like there is some passive income that comes my way, even after advertising costs of like say $40-50. And I mean I think that's like an income that could be meaningful to you.
I am currently, so there is an avenue that I'm looking to go down. Another comedian I know, she has a Patreon account where like she publishes stuff periodically. People are subscribers. Like
Yeah,
I'm a
for
subscriber.
podcasts or YouTube, and it's like
Yeah.
$2 a month. Like I
Right.
tried creating them for one of my novel accounts, one of my writing accounts, and no one subscribed. But I think I'm doing it wrong. But anyway, yeah, Patreon is good. But I mean, just self-publishing on Amazon, like you could put your screenplays up there, and people could download and read them. I mean, I don't know if they
Maybe.
would, or if you could write short stories or novels, you could put those up, and then you could do something creative, and it might not, it's not going to be a huge revenue stream, but I don't think you're at a point where you would turn down $40-50 a month.
No.
So,
$40-50 a month would be really helpful, which is crazy. So most people think $40-50, it's not a big deal. $40-50 changes shit.
well, I mean,
Like it makes life easier.
well, there's times, because it comes at the very end of the month, where I'm like, okay, well, I'm in between checks, and that will help me, like, cover my rent. Like, not that I, like, was $2 short, but just that time of the month, it really helps to have a little bit of balance, because that rent check is a big hit to my bank account every month. But like, so it's made a difference to me, and like doesn't mean you will sell $50 a month, but I'm like,
No.
that's a sustainable goal. You could be like, I'm gonna publish some creative works and hope I can sell 10 copies and make $5 a book or something.
And so it's a great idea, and I have ideas of creating content and try to do something and get a little money coming in, but I can't get out of my own way long enough to get anything done.
When that's the depression comes in.
So like today was an example. I've been thinking, so like I had class on Tuesday, for which anyone who's thinking about taking a class, we take the class from the Comedy Intensive Ken Pringle. It's a great class. I've learned some stuff. I had class on Tuesday, which I mean I am essentially a senior in high school in comedy now. Like I've completed 3 years. I'm in my 4th year, and I took this class and I thought, you know, I could learn more about structure and stuff like that.
There's some shit
And it's done that. I had
Well, that's
class
good.
on Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
I got some really good notes, and I've been mulling it over.
Okay.
I got busy with work, busy with other stuff. I decided to take yesterday off because I'm going to be working my ass off until I leave to go on vacation in a week and a half. It's only like a 4-day vacation, not really good a vacation. I'm just leaving town for a few days, but I got to today, and I realized I hadn't done any work
On your set.
on my set. And today, I was working on it. I couldn't figure it out. I spent 4 hours on one joke. In that 4 hours, I had a crying spell for about a half hour. Like, I had a complete meltdown.
Because of the frustration?
Because of the frustration. Because instantly, the voices in my head start going, well, this is why you're a piece of shit. This is why you can't hold down a regular job. This is why you don't have any real skills. This is why you're not better as a comic. This is why you're not better at this. And I just beat the shit out of myself because I feel bad because I know I am not reaching my full potential. Like, I have aspirations of being a great comic. Like, I want to be really good.
Right.
And I'm not accomplishing those goals because essentially I get in my own way. And that's frustrating. And it was debilitating today. I got done. I got there eventually. But it took 4 hours, a meltdown, crying in my bed. It was a lot of work for one joke.
Man. Well, I don't know, what usually hits me is, like, I've talked about, like, on my way to a show, I'm like, okay, what should I say? And then I realize, like, I want to, like, discard everything I've ever told on stage and come up with stuff I think is actually good in the hour on my way. Like, 40 years of comedy and trying to come up with jokes, no, that's all been shit. But somehow in the next hour, I'm going to come up with 5 good minutes.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's hard for me to prepare, is because I'm like, I hate all my shit on the day of a show. Like, I'm totally happy with it, talking to you right now. I'm like, yeah, I've got some good sets, I'm good, I'm happy, I like my material, I put it up on YouTube. But on the hour and a half, I'm like, I can't say any of this shit on stage.
Yeah.
No one wants to hear any of this. And I'm like racking my brains for, like, oh, come on. How hard is it?
Right. You're just going up and telling jokes.
I'm like, I'm going to come up with, sure, 40 years has given birth to 20 minutes that I now can't stand. But somehow, I can just bang out 5 great minutes on the way to the show.
Right. I'm constantly telling myself, you suck because you didn't put the work in. You forget jokes, you forget punchlines, you forget your setups, you forget all this stuff because you're not as prepared. Your scene was a classic example of that.
Oh yeah, we have to talk about that because I'm still pissed about that.
I got overwhelmed, and with all the bullshit in my life, I didn't put the time in. I wasn't as prepared, and ultimately I was disappointed by it. That is the circle of my depression.
It gets in the way. You can't accomplish something because you're depression, and then you're depressed because you didn't accomplish the thing that you wanted, and it's a feedback loop.
Yes.
All right. On that note, okay. So we're gonna return to the topic of depression, but I don't want to end this on a complete downer note. Like, so given that the feedback loop, do you feel like you could break the loop?
I don't know.
I
don't know because it keeps happening.
But what if you didn't? Like, if you found a workaround where you didn't get overwhelmed and you accomplished the thing, like, would you then hit yourself something new?
It's to the point now where I'm considering medication because maybe the medication will help break the cycle.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, because if you were able to focus and get past the thing, even though you got sad, you could be like, well, I know I can get past the loop, and it's not debilitating.
Right. And in the past, I've been able to do that. But in the last couple of years, it is getting increasingly harder to break the loop.
Well, I know, like, you were depressed one time and you came out and did the show anyway.
I did.
And you did a really good job. And then you had fun after the rest of the show. And I think, like, if you had not done that, in addition to not feeling good and meeting people and having a good night, you would have then had that one more thing to clobber yourself with. I can't even show up for a show.
That's true. And it worked out well. I came with a new joke. The new joke I told killed. The set was really good, right? And I was fine. I was happy. I was in a good mood. I felt like I had accomplished something. 100%. So yes, it's possible to break the loop. It's hard to climb out of the hole once you're in it. it's a challenging thing to do. But sometimes it's a matter of making yourself do it.
Well, I think it's also hard because I can't like create anything I'm proud of unless I'm in a good place, good headspace. Like I could, like if I'm unemployed, I'm like I've got all the time in the world to work on something, but I can't work on it because I don't feel in a good headspace.
Yeah.
And that's like a really thing. And I think like that's kind of, but like there's ways maybe to be in a good headspace, you know, even when you're unemployed, or at least to find those hours that when you have an hour when you're not hating yourself, you gotta channel and do that. I think it's kind of like surfing. You gotta ride the wave in. You gotta look for the wave, and when you get the wave, you can't. That's when you have to do the hour and a half of creativity. When you find that one wave, you gotta ride it. Because the thing is, like we get lazy. Like, oh, I'm watching a show right now. The moment you have that one wave, you gotta fucking harness it. And on that note, we're gonna end this depressing podcast about depression.